Hi Gearspace, Adam from Audient here, and I am going to show you our new baby. This is Oria. For anyone who's been looking at getting into immersive audio, I know there are still a lot of naysayers out there, but if you are genuinely interested in immersive, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you, quite possibly, the answer to what you've been looking for. This is our new immersive audio interface and monitor controller. So it's 2 in 1. If you don't currently have an interface that supports immersive for your mix room, Oria can do that with its USB-C interface. Alternatively, if you already have a pre-existing studio setup that's high channel track count and you want to add immersive in there, it also works as a monitor controller where you can feed it either by the ADAT inputs or by an optional Dante card. Now, it's not just monitor controller as in volume. This does so much more. And that's why it's the killer, because of course when you start adding more than 2 speakers, it doesn't really matter how well you treat your room, you're going to end up with some kind of issues, whether it be reflections, whether it be whatever. So we designed Oria with onboard calibration features. Every speaker up to 9.1.6 has a 8-band EQ with variable Q and all the kind of stuff you would need to get rid of notches, add extra, whatever it may be. They've all got individual volume trims, delay up to 75 milliseconds, bass management with a crossover on every channel to go to the LFE, which means that you can then have everything. Even if, say, your height speakers can't do sub, we can have that done properly. And then from there, we've also got 2 sets of stereo outputs, so if you want to keep your near fields that you like that don't match your immersive setup, then you can click a button and switch those, and that'll switch the immersive speakers off and switch to stereo. That will also switch the calibration to the calibration for those specific near field speakers. You can use these with what we call profiles, which are kind of a preset, but also it includes all of the EQ, all the calibration. Now, if you want to do manual calibration, that's absolutely fine, that's what this is all for. But if you don't have an acoustician, if you don't have the budget for an acoustician, or anything like that, you can use this. This is a Sound ID reference microphone from Sonarworks. I'm sure most of you have heard of them and some of you love them. And this, it comes with the Oria unit, ships in every box. Comes with a 60-day trial of the multi-channel version of Sound ID reference. And so you do your measurements in your immersive setup, and that gets exported directly into Oria as one of the profiles. So that's then done. So if you set that as a flat profile, that's done. If you set it as the Dolby Atmos music curve or some sort of EQ, that is all stored in the profile. And then you can do things like mute certain groups, solo the speakers, make sure that's all working right. Switch between your inputs with a flick of a switch. There's a down mix button, which means if you're using the Dolby Atmos renderer, then without having to open the software and click here, click there, it will automatically fold things down to, say, 5.1 or 2.0, just to check that your Atmos mix sounds right on smaller numbers of speakers without messing around. And we're pending certification within the next 3 weeks or so. We're hoping that will be done, will be Dolby certified. There's so much more. There are 2 preamps on board, which are the same as the console preamps and the ID preamps, but for the first time, they are digitally controlled, so you can recall your gain in 1 dB steps. And that means that you don't have to have any extra preamps connected to do things like the measurements in your room. It's all there. It's a one-stop shop, essentially. There's also AES outputs, so that if you've got digital speakers, like from the brands that have all that kind of stuff built in, that's all on a D-sub. And if you have a setup that's using AES, if you're using left and right, that's on 1 cable, or that's a really awkward situation. So we've made it so that each speaker can be defined to any output in that circumstance, so that you could run, say, a couple of cables down the left side, a couple of cables down the right side, and not have that horrible crisscross that would otherwise go on with AES speakers. It's out Q1. It's not going to be very long before you see these on the shelves. Very much looking forward to seeing these out in the wild. Right now, with it being rack mount, if you can't reach that in the rack, there's going to be a free iPad app as well with all the control features. So you can do volume, mutes, profile switching, all that kind of stuff from your desk with an iPad app. but we've tried to make it as simple as possible, as streamlined and affordable as possible. And it's out very, very soon. I'm looking forward to you all checking these out. Thanks for watching. Check out more details on the Audient.com website.